Just as we think things are turning up for United, just when you think things are getting good, things are looking up, you get hit, you get slapped on the face, slapped on the face. United are in debt, the highest debt that we've ever known, we've ever seen. Manchester United are 750 million pounds in debt. And the sad part is, remember the loan that the Glazers took so that they can buy United 20 years ago? Still there. Not a dime has been paid. Well, welcome to the live. My name is Simon, aka Simon Insky, and this is the UKG podcast. Today we are going to discuss about the Glazers, the Glazer debt era. The debt is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. The club is getting deeper into debt. And sometimes you have to look at it. You know, being a United fan at the moment is, I'd say it's a sacrifice. you got to stick by the club, yes, through thick and thin, yes. But looking at what the club is going through at the moment, it's tough being a United fan, to be honest. It's tough being a United fan. So as usual, get involved in the comment section. We are live across all platforms, that is TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, as well as Kick and YouTube. So get involved in the chat. Make sure you also go to the YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button, and let's discuss about this huge debt, because I'd say I hate the Glazers. I hate the Glazers. I wish these guys would just sell the club and leave. Hello to you. Hello to you, Chitsama. It's good to see you. You're the first chatter of the day. So how are you doing? How has your day been? Mine was a bit good. I'd say lazy day. Didn't go to the office today, so I had a lazy day. But yeah, I want us just to discuss about the debt. United, we know they're a cash cow. They generate a lot of money, but the debt is not going away. In fact, the debt is increasing. The Glazers took a loan of 481 million pounds 20 years ago to buy the club, and that loan still there, hasn't been paid. United are looking at around 749 million pounds of debt. Recently, United took out some money through their credit facility. So today we are going to look at all that. We ask ourselves, is this probably why United keeps struggling even on the pitch? Because looking at those figures, even with Jim Radcliffe coming on, will he be able to take out United out of this big hole, this big debt, this huge debt? United need midfielders. Does this mean that United won't be able to sign midfielders? So, as usual, as I said, get involved in the comment section. Also, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about the Glazers. What do United fans need to do to make sure that these guys eventually sell the club? So, Shitsama, you're saying, honestly, don't you think this debt is a blessing in disguise? In what way? In what way? Before you said, wow, good to hear you are okay, bro. Yeah, I'm doing well. Yeah. Shitsama Theodry. That's a really difficult name to pronounce. How is it a blessing in disguise? How is it a blessing in disguise? Because honestly, I don't like seeing these news about the debt. I don't like seeing these news about the debt. So I did make some notes just to go through what that debt means for United. What are we looking at? And probably I'll be able to answer that question. Is it a blessing in disguise? Is Jim Radcliffe able to sort out the debt? Because, I mean, getting to see those figures, it's close to £1 billion in debt. It's close to £1 billion in debt. And to be honest, I don't know what to believe, because at one time we are told that United are in a good position to sign players. There were reports that United have enough cash to activate Semenyo's release clause in January. United would be in a position to sign 100 million worth of a midfielder next summer. But where is that money coming from? Where is that money coming from, to be honest? So the revenue was down. The quarterly reports came out, and Manchester United had a slight decrease in terms of the quarterly revenue. So in the last quarter, United had 143.1 million pounds in revenue, but that decreased to 140.3 million pounds total revenue this quarter. So this past quarter, United have experienced a loss of around 2 point what? Why is my math not mathing? Let me see. Let me just calculate that. 143.1 minus 0.3. So we are looking at a debt of a loss. So United made a loss of 2.8 million, but the club of that size, I think that's peanuts. For the club, a club of the size of United, 2.8 million is peanuts, but still, a loss is a loss, whether it's £1, 500 pounds to 2.8 million pounds. So Shitsama, what are you saying here? You're saying, for me, I think the more we get the chance to sell Man United to the rich Saudi guys, and that will be a turning point. Yeah. If you put it that way, then yeah, it is a blessing in disguise. It is a blessing in disguise. So my question is, number one, if the links from that Qatari guy, what was his name? Sheikh Jassim, if the links were true, that he wanted to buy United back then, why didn't the Glazers sell to him? Because the reports were stating that the Jassim would come in, pay the debt, make sure that United have no debt, and then he will invest in the club. But somehow they went for the Glazers, for Ineos. So I don't understand why the Glazers would actually refuse that deal and choose Jim Radcliffe. Or perhaps, as Jim Radcliffe said, it was just a hoax. Jassim was not interested in buying the club. Because I remember Jim Radcliffe saying that Jassim is fictitious. There is no such kind of person. There is no such kind of a consortium that wants to buy. Earlier this year or mid this year, we had those reports that there is a consortium from Saudi Arabia that want to buy the club. So probably this will invoke that pressure, will bring on that pressure for the Glazers finally to sell the club. But honestly, I'm very, very disappointed. In fact, disappointed is an understatement. The Glazers keep siphoning money from this club. This club makes millions in terms of revenue, and all of that is going elsewhere. It's going to their pockets. These guys are just collecting dividends. So the quarterly results were out or are out, and United made a loss of 2.8 million. So basically from 143.1 million pounds down to 140. And the major reason for that drop is because United don't have European games, as well as United have less games at home. So you combine those two and you see, of course, the revenue coming in will be less. The other aspect we also need to consider is that United were kicked out of the Carabao Cup early. It's a much smaller competition compared to Conference League or the Europa League or even Champions League. But the fact that United are out, that's still loss of revenue, because assuming that United have a Carabao Cup fixture against a Premier League club at Old Trafford, just an assumption, they will still bring in a lot of money, not only in ticket sales, but also in TV revenue as well as merchandise sales. So having United play one fixture a week obviously has brought on that decline in terms of revenue. So from the looks of things, if United want to have a good rebuild, a much quicker rebuild, then United needs to go back to Europe. So that's more pressure on Ruben Amorim. That's more pressure on on Ineos to support Ruben Amorim. So we are getting into those cases where chicken and the egg kind of situation. Because if Amorim needs to get to Europe, he needs players. And if United need players, they need money. Right now, they don't have money, so they are saying we need to go back to Europe. So Ineos are saying, get us to Europe, we get the money, we buy the players. Amorim is, on the other hand, is saying, give me the players, I get you to Europe. So chicken and egg, which one do we start with? So either way, it's paramount that United get back to Europe, because also we know that some players, for example, we've had reports of Adam Wharton, Elliot Anderson wanting to go, even Semenyo wanting to go to clubs that are in the Champions League. Yeah, so let me read a comment. I saw a comment here. Haruna, you're saying, how are you? How can United without a CDM in January? How can United without CDM in January without buying? Oh, probably you meant how can United survive or move up the table without a CDM in January? Yeah, it's a tricky situation, to be honest, Haruna. First of all, I'm doing well. Before I continue responding, I'm doing well. As I say, today I took an off, stayed on the couch the whole day watching movies, watching movies and just resting. And yeah, so Haruna, same case, chicken and egg. Amorim needs players to get to Europe. Ineos are saying the United need to get to Europe so that they can be able to get money to invest in players. So pressure on Amorim, pressure on the team. Of course, in this freaky season, United can always make their way to Europe. They can always qualify to Europe if they are consistent enough. For example, Bournemouth are not having a good season, beat them. Whenever they meet these teams that United are supposed to beat, they make sure they get the points. So moving on, in terms of the Glazer debt era, we are looking at an operating profit of 13 million compared to 7 million operating loss last year. So this shows an improved cost control and increased commercial income. You remember when United fans, all of us were making noise about downsizing, about redundancies, letting people go. It seems to have borne some fruit, because United made an operating profit of around 13 million. So that means that United taking care of that redundancy, making that tough decision has made a difference in terms of making sure United have a lot of money or enough money when it comes to operational costs or operating costs. So it's good to see that it went to 13 million compared to 7 million last year. Now, the net debt is 749.2 million pounds. That's a record high for the club. That's close. That's 750 million. 750 million pounds in debt. Just to put that into perspective, Arsenal, Chelsea, City have invested over 1 billion pounds on their squad or in their squad. 1 billion pounds investments to their squads, while United are close to 1 billion pounds in debt. So how are United going to compete with these teams? You know, sometimes it's a sad situation. You can't help but just laugh, to be honest. Teams are investing billions, 1 billion pound, 2 billion pounds in their squads. United can't. They can't even pay out their debts. The Glazers bought the club via debt, leverage. To this day, 20 years later, the debt has not been paid even a dime. And the Glazers are still getting dividends. Still getting dividends. So a question to you guys in the comment section: where does this money go to? Of course, we know one of the places is the dividends, but United generate a lot of revenue. but the debt is increasing. What's going on? What's going on? And I keep saying, and I remember I also said it yesterday in the midweek debate. Somehow it's like these guys who are constantly on Amorim out as the big accounts. Now I'm starting to get fully convinced that they actually paid to draw the attention away from the actual problem. Because if the club is in debt and United took out £105 million from the club's revolving credit facility this quarter. So United are still taking out loans, 105 million. That's why the debt is getting higher and higher. That we are seeing the club going deeper and deeper into debt. The club is operating on a debt, signing players, and yet they can't pay the transfer fees. You saw what Ineos did during the summer window, negotiating higher fees for players as collateral for not paying more upfront. Like the Cunha fee has been was split to 3 installments. Mbumo, they had to add around 5 to 10 million because they couldn't pay more upfront. So recently, United have added 105 million in debt. So yes, we are seeing United are generating a lot of money, but why does the club keep getting deeper into debt? So I sort of agree with Shitsama that this is a blessing in disguise, because eventually these guys, the Glazers, will have to sell. So now where are Ineos in all of this? Why can't Ineos come in and clear the debt? Simply because they are minority shareholders. They have a 25 to 29% ownership of the club. They can't step in and clear the debt because the books are still covered by the Glazers. The deal between the Glazers and Ineos is Ineos take charge of football operations. That comes with issues to do with the team, the manager, the coaches, the scouting, the recruitment. They don't really deal with the books, the club revenue, profit and loss. No. Ineos, I don't think they have a say in that. So as we keep complaining that the team is not performing well, the manager is not performing well, but you look at that sort of situation, you're like, how is the future of this club looking? And now it starts making sense why United are starting to make those smart buys. For example, going to South America, scouting young players, going to Africa, scouting young players, signing them for the future at low costs. Because from the look of things, United right now, the rebuild needs more time than we thought from the look of things. Because if United are taking out more debt, 105 million drawn from the club's revolving credit facility this quarter, the Glazers' takeover debt is 481 million pounds, which remains unchanged. So these guys are still owning the club via debt. So once again, the revenue is 140.3 million this quarter, down from 143. The operating costs, the operating profit, that is 13 million, improved from -7. So as I say, the redundancies, the downsizing has made sense. Net debt, 749.2 million pounds. New borrowing, 105 million credit facility. The initial debt, that is the Glazer takeover debt, is still at 481 million 20 years later. As I said, sometimes you get sad, you start smiling or laughing because I don't even know how to react to this, to be honest. I don't even know how to react to this. I don't even know how to react to this. Because the takeover debt of 481 million is there, and then United go on and take 105 million. add on to that debt. While clubs are investing £1 billion, £2 billion to their squad, in their squad, United are taking out loans to keep afloat. We see that United are making record revenues, but the debt is still there. So how bad is it compared to the other big clubs? I made some notes so that I can share this with you. So of course, many big clubs have debt in terms of stadium loans, owner loans. The difference with United is that the debt did not fund a new stadium or a training ground. So if you compare to clubs like Real Madrid, like Arsenal, their huge debts were due to new stadiums, new investments in their facilities. United are planning to have a new stadium. So that means it's more debt, or they look for financing from partners and the government. We were all excited about the new stadium, but now serious questions have to be asked. Serious questions have to be asked. Yes, they want to build a new £2 billion stadium, but the club is close to £1 billion in debt. So where are they going to get the financing from? And why is it so difficult for the Glazers not to sell this damn club or even pay that loan? Why does the club keep using its credit facilities? Because the way credit facilities work, if you have a credit card, you take out money and then you pay later. So that means you don't have cash at hand. You don't have cash in the bank. You have to take out a loan and then plan to pay it later. United are signing players using loans. So we have signed the player, but we say, hey, we are going to pay this money in these installments. I've mentioned about Cunha. They had now to negotiate the installments to be 3. You look at Mbumo, because United didn't have a lot of money upfront to pay for him, they had to pay a penalty or collateral or interest. That's why the Mbumo fee went higher than what was negotiated. So, I mean, Anthony Sadiki, you are saying, I swear if we don't get a proper CDM, one who is ready to do all the dirty work, we will suffer. Now, looking at that debt, Anthony, how are United going to afford £100 million worth of a player? Because literally, United have taken the same amount as a loan. Or probably it's the loan to buy a player. Who knows? Who knows? Probably the 100 million is to buy the player. If they take that loan to buy a player, I don't have a problem. But still, the debt is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It's getting bigger, bigger, bigger. £750 million. £750 million. So the difference between the debt that United have and the debt that other clubs have is United's debt did not fund a new stadium or a training ground. It funded the purchase of the club itself. And the club was bought when? 2005. 2005. So this news needs to make us angry. As United fans, we need to be angry with this news. Fans have tried protesting in Manchester. They have tried. Nothing has happened. Nothing has changed. I wish fans like myself in Nairobi, Kenya, I could take a flight and go join that protest. But something has to give. Something has to give. This is the time that United fans need to be united against the Glazers. It's time to root out this evil, this cancer that's ailing the club. Ineos have tried, yes. They've tried their best, but they have minority control of the club. They've come in, they've built a new Carrington, a new thing. Probably that's one of the reasons why the protests went down. The Glazers, the owners, have a habit of giving United fans some false dawn, false hope. Like signing Cunha and Mbumo, Sheshko, all of a sudden, it's like the club is up and running. The club is okay now. But 749.2. 749.2 million pounds in debt. I'll repeat the perspective. Arsenal, Chelsea, and City have invested over 1 billion pounds in their squads, sign players to be competitive. While United are looking at the same figure when it's coming to debts, and no proper investment in the squad. Ayatola, hello to you. How are you doing? I'm doing well I'm doing well as well. So some owners inject equity or interest-free loans. The Glazers have historically taken dividends and allowed high interest costs to persist. So other than, yes, the club being in debt, there are also high interest rates. The Glazers take out dividends instead of clearing the debt. That's a nutshell of why United are in this mess. And you tend to wonder, what if Ineos didn't come in to buy the minority stake at the club? Where would the club be right now? Carrington was falling apart. Old Trafford was falling apart, leaking roofs, rats all over, mold all over. They've come in and tried to rescue the situation. But still, United are yet to finish paying for players like Hoyland, like Sancho. Some players who've played for United 4 years are still like on loan. It's a loan player. United have to pay. Glazers are still taking out dividends. So who are they waiting to come and take over? So it's time they actually sell the club. As I was saying, right now, United fans need to put aside all their differences. Amorim in, Amorim out, put that difference aside. Whether the squad is good enough, put that aside and actually start protesting to have these owners kicked out of the club. The UK government, they also need to look at this and say, oh, this is a big club. This is one of the clubs that actually brings tourists to the country. They attract tourists from all over the world to come to the country to watch United play. We can't allow this to happen, because looking at these numbers, they are not good. They are not good. So the reasons as to why the Glazers can't step in is because they only have around 25-29% of the club, and they only control football operations. So the Glazers still hold the majority shares and control the overall capital structure. So the Glazers are still the ones managing the books, managing the finances, managing the revenues. So Radcliffe's focus, Radcliffe and Ineos' focus, is on football operations, recruitment, and culture, and not on instantly clearing all the historic debt. So Jim Radcliffe can't come in, or may not be in a position to come in and instantly clear the debt, because the Glazers are the majority owners. So there has been talk of a new stadium or major redevelopment of Old Trafford, but those require either more borrowing, partnering with other investors, or actually having a massive injection of equity. So we've seen talk of United and Manchester Municipality trying to get this deal done. Of course, there is a go-ahead now, but now where does the money come from? Partners coming in. And one thing I know about business and guys who deal with millions, billions of dollars, millions, billions of pounds is they can't come in where the environment is not good. Return on investment is not good. So yes, they might invest in that new stadium, let's say to a tune of 2 billion pounds. But they look at the books, they say, you guys are still making losses. So how are we going to recover that money? Manchester United have been having good sponsors, Chevy, Aeon, Team Viewer, pumping a lot of money to the team, but still United are making losses. One thing I don't understand is how the 481 million that the Glazers took to buy the club is not yet paid even a dime, even a penny, even £1, even a tenner. Nothing has been paid to that loan, towards that loan. These guys are just taking dividends upon dividends, not investing in the squad, putting blinds on United fans' eyes by signing good players or big names, and we think that everything is okay. But behind the scenes, everything is rotten. Everything is rotten. And honestly, my assumption is Amorim is having a very, very difficult time, because if he's going to the board, he says, I need a fullback, I need a left wing back, I need a midfielder, CDM, and he's told, we can only buy them if we get to Europe. And then Ruben Amorim is telling them, hey, come on, I can't make to Europe without at least 2 players. So one question to you guys in the comment section. Do you think that the Glazers, the debt, it's the problem at United? It's the main reason why the club is the way it is right now? From on-pitch issues, off-pitch issues. Let me know in the comment section. What do you think? Are the Glazers the number one problem at Manchester United? Because from the look of things, I even checked on X. There is no uproar. There is very little uproar about this debt compared to when United lose a game. I'm looking at X right now. When United lose points, when United lose a game, there is more uproar, there is more debate compared to this news that United are made a loss and are getting deeper into debt. Shocking. It's just shocking. So Jim Radcliffe is trying to run the football club, but his hands are tied because the club is still chained to a very expensive financial past. I actually wrote that in my notes. So bottom line is Radcliffe might run the football, but the balance sheet still speaks fluent of the Glazers. The Glazers are just a cancer. These guys are just a cancer. They are killing this club. The Glazers are simply killing Manchester United, and the fans seem to be okay with it. When United lose games, I'll repeat that again. When United lose games, there is more anger compared to now that we are seeing these reports about record high debt. Record high debts. United are still taking on debts. So, as fans of Manchester United, as members, there are guys who are members of Manchester United Football Club. As global fans, we need to be more angry about the ownership than the results. Because if we sort out the ownership, the results will follow. The results will absolutely follow. Because as I said, Arsenal, Chelsea, City, over £1 billion in investments to their squads. United can't do that. And if they do by piling on to the debt. It's just frustrating, man. It's just frustrating. And when you think that things are looking up, when you have that high, like United have beaten Wolves 4-1, you think that things are looking up, things are looking okay. There's that little bit of hope. You get such news. For guys like me, I love United. Everything about it, from the under 21s, under 18s, first team. I also watch women's football. Like last night, I was watching the Champions League, United versus Lyon, and you have to follow the club to an extent where you start getting into those nitty gritties of finances, debts, revenues, and all that. Because when United make record revenues, we celebrate. We say, yeah, we are making a lot of money. We also need to get angry. As much as United fans, we get disappointed about the loss, losing games, that is. We get disappointed that Amorim is not performing as expected. This team is not performing as expected. We also need to get disappointed, angry, in fact, that the Glazers are still holding on to this club and siphoning money from it. The Glazers have milked this cow to a point where now it's bleeding. It's no longer producing milk. It's just producing blood. That's where the club is, in my opinion. In my opinion. I wish and I hope someone looks at this and says, now I can go in and buy this club. Because we are looking at United might even get close to 1 billion. They might surpass 1 billion pounds in debt. Because if United currently are at 750 million in debt and they are still piling on, United need to rebuild. Yeah. Now it makes sense why they want to sell players like Kobe for pure profit to sort out PSR and FFP. I had written something down about that. It makes sense now why United want to sell, or why they sold McTominay. It was not because of footballing reasons. It was because of PSR and FFP. Selling Kobe is pure profit. You get pure profit from selling an academy player. We might end up seeing more academy players being sold so that United can be able to rebuild the first team. Here we are worried about players like Kobe, worried about players from the academy not getting chances. Now we are looking at a situation where United can't be able to delve seriously into the transfer market because they need to pile on to the debt. And you've seen reports, for example, Andy Mitten coming out and saying United will only go to the market, the January market, if there is an opportunity. If there is an opportunity. United need players. They need players, but they are only going to sign players when the opportunity arises. So you look at this year, it's a World Cup year. It's a World Cup year. Players right now might refuse to move because it might affect their World Cup selection. Teams at the moment in this freakish Premier League season don't want to give up or to give away their best players or the good players they have. Because right now you look at that table, one loss you go down, one win you go all the way up. Right now top four is very volatile. Top six is very volatile. Any team can get to top six, any team can drop out of top six except Arsenal. So you're looking from second position all the way down. Teams can make moves. By the time the season is ending, anyone can be top six. Anyone in the top six right now can drop off. So teams will look at that and say, hey, we cannot sell our key player. We cannot sell our good players in January because we are looking at an opportunity to get into Europe. Now, when the club now waits till summer, there is World Cup. So you can't, it's difficult. Let me not say you can't. It's difficult to sign players before the World Cup. Some players, some agents say, my client will talk to you after the World Cup. So it means if the player is going to the World Cup, then you have to wait till the World Cup is done. Now, when the World Cup is done, there is a high probability that their value goes up. So, for example, Elliot Anderson, right now we are hearing reports of him being 100 million pounds. So if he goes to the World Cup and has a good World Cup, then Nottingham Forest might say, give us 150 or give us 120. Because basically he's had a good World Cup. So the next summer will be more difficult for United to get players on board. United didn't take advantage of last summer because they didn't have money. Now January is here. Reports are coming out that they will only sign players if the opportunity presents itself, if there is an opportunity, not because they need. They are not going out to get players because they urgently need them. They are going to get players if an opportunity turns up or pops up because they don't have money. They don't have enough money to actually seriously go into the market and get that player. I don't think United right now have enough money to go out and buy someone like Florian Wirtz for 130 million. No. Which goes back the chicken and egg. They are saying, Amorim, make it to Europe. Amorim says, for me to make it to Europe, give me more players. Yeah. So how does this debt affect FFP and PSR? So the debt itself doesn't break Premier League profit and sustainability rules. And we know that that rule is now changing to squad cost ratio, which is up for United. In case you didn't watch that video about SCR, make sure after this live you go to the YouTube channel. You look for that video about SCR. It's all explained and how it will be an advantage United. As well as, guys, as you look at the top right, you'll see that we are going for 500 subs. So currently we are at 437, road to 500 subs. So if you can hit that subscribe button, guys on TikTok, come over to YouTube, hit that subscribe button, post a comment. We are able to display the comment on screen. Yeah. So back to PSR. So the debt itself does not break PSR. The losses that matter, it is the losses that matter. So if United continue making losses, like we've seen, United have already gotten a loss of 2.8 million between this past quarter and the other one. So if they continue making losses, then they will be in trouble with PSR. But yet again, that rule has changed. As from next year, we are going to see SCR, squad cost ratio, coming in. Now, however, heavy interest costs make it much harder to stay profitable. So the more the interest costs pile up, the more the debt piles up, it makes it difficult for United to become profitable, because eventually there'll come a point where they'll need to start paying off that debt. For example, the credit facilities. Some credit facilities are short-term, others are long-term. The other thing we have to note that is United are rebuilding. They are rebuilding the squad and they need money to rebuild the squad. So if they go out and buy a player and let's say they break down the transfer fees into installments, it means that they have to generate that revenue to pay for that player. Operating costs as well, they are ongoing. So it's a huge web. It's a huge toxic web of what's going on behind the scenes. So you look at high interests plus redundancy costs plus missing out of Europe equals to smaller margin for error on transfers. So as I said, it's paramount for United to go back to Europe. And United going back to Europe is not to win the competition per se for now, but to get that revenue. United also need to finish higher up the table, because the higher up the table you finish, the more revenue you get at the end of the season. United need to participate more in competitions. They need to be in the Carabao Cup, they need to be in the FA Cup, they need to be in the Premier League, they need to be in one of the European competition, even if it's Europa, Champions League or Conference League, because it also generates revenue. They'll get TV money, they'll get merchandise, they'll get ticket sales, all that. It will help to generate some money for the club. And yes, we made a lot of noise that redundancies, guys who are losing jobs. It's a sad situation to see people lose their jobs. Honestly, it is sad. I've once been declared redundant in one of my former employers' place, and I can tell you that feeling is the worst in the world. You're like, how do I even go face the missus, face the kids, and tell them I've been laid off. I no longer have an income. It's one of the worst situations you would ever want to be in. But now it makes sense. If you look at how United are operating, they're operating in debt. It's a sad situation. Anthony, you're asking, hi, Simon, when did you start? Do you mean the show or you mean the... what do you mean, Anthony? Anthony, let me know what you mean. When did you start? If it's the show, we started at 8. I'm sorry, at 9 o'clock. I hope that's what you meant. Yeah, so I was saying about redundancies. It was a difficult situation, difficult decision for Ineos to make. And I'm sure it wasn't easy for anyone who sat in that boardroom and decided to lay off staff. We saw also this past week, the scouting department has been trimmed down. It's been made smaller. Unions are using now data departments to scout for players. It's not a good situation to see someone lose their job, but it all makes sense because even if you're running a business, some of us watching online, we have businesses or you work in a business. If your business is not making enough money, you have to look for ways to survive. Now I'm wearing the other shoe of the business owner. So if you're not making enough money, to me, it's unfair to keep someone on the job and fail to pay them. You'd rather let them go. I've also been in a situation where you work, you put in a shift, you go to work. Every day you wake up, go to the office, do your best, and then when it comes to payday, your employer tells you, we don't have money to pay you. That's also a very, very bad situation to be in. So if you run a business and you get that situation where you need to survive, it's fair for both parties to let the employee go, the staff go, and you sort out your business. Because as I said, it's not fair to have someone work for you and then fail to pay them. You'd rather just ask them not to work for you because you can't pay them and you need the business to run. So it's not an easy decision as well to let someone go. Anthony asking, did you hear of the Gallagher news? The only thing I heard was that, let me check whether there are more news on this, is that Atletico Madrid want a permanent transfer for him. They don't want a loan. And even if it's a loan with an obligation. So let me check whether there are more news about this. Let me see. Conor Gallagher. Because the latest report I saw was about him. Yes, he wants the move, but United don't want a permanent move. They want a loan. Atletico Madrid want a permanent transfer. So nothing new. Probably let me know Anthony, let me know in the comment section whether there is something I've missed. Whether there is something, because the only report I saw in the morning was that United asked for him, but they were told yes, United can have him on loan, but it's loan with obligation, and United don't want that kind of a deal. So I'm seeing a bit of news here, further news regarding the debt. This is from the Swedish Rumble on X. It says £1 billion for servicing the Glazers' debt, £166 million in dividends. What responsibility do the owners take when the club needs support after finishing 15th overall in the Premier League? Wages are cut to 50% of our rivals, and investments during the transfer windows are massacred. So the Glazer family acquired Manchester United in 2005, that is, and the accumulated pre-tax losses total 531 million pounds, and the cumulative net interest costs are now in excess of 1 billion pounds. Listen to that. While other teams are investing 1 billion pounds, over 1 billion pounds in their squads, United are paying 1 billion pounds in interest, loans, all that thing. And I'll ask again, why is there more outrage when United lose a game and there is no outrage for this news? United are 750 million in debt, and it's like, it's normal. It's expected. It's like, what do you want us to do about it? But when United lose a game, there is a whole debate online about sacking Amorim, about tactics, about what is going wrong. So at that point, when it comes to the manager and sacking the manager, we have an opinion, we have solutions. We want to get involved, sort out the issue. But now there is this news about the debt. It's like we don't even care about it. What's going on, guys? Manchester United fans globally need to be more angry. The same way fans are angry with Amorim for not playing Kobe, fans are angry with Amorim for playing Bruno out of position. The same way fans are angry with Amorim for losing to Everton, for drawing with West Ham. They need also to channel the same anger, even more anger, towards the Glazers. That's my take. So Anthony was saying they practically turned Manchester United to an extraction business. Yes, as I've said, the Glazers have milked the cow. The cow has been drained of the milk. Now there is no milk, it's blood coming out, and they are still continuing. Listen to this. Let me see whether I can display this on screen. Let me see whether I can display this on screen. Let me see. So that you see how bad it is. So that you see how bad it is. What's happening to my screen? This is how it is. I hope you guys can be able to see. Let me just make sure I increase it a bit so that you can all see. So 1 billion for servicing the debt, 166 million in dividend. What responsibility does the owner or do the owners take when the club needs support after finishing 15th? Manchester United finished 15th, and United didn't move in the transfer window like a club that finished 15th. Liverpool won the Premier League trophy, and they added close to 500 million pounds of investment to their current squad. It hasn't worked out, but still that's a good move. They showed ambition. They showed progression. They say now we want to retain the trophy. On the other hand, United finished 15th. Yes, they did sign 3 attackers, but the goalkeeper was signed in the last 24 hours of the window simply because Alte Bandia was not performing well. If Alte Bandia performed well in those 3 or 4 fixtures, Manchester United could not have gone for a goalkeeper. They couldn't have. Donnarumma was on the table. One of the best goalkeepers in the world, but United couldn't sign him because they are trying to bring down their wages. As you've seen there, wages are cut to 50% of our rivals, and the investments during the transfer window are massacred. So United can't go out, attract a player like Donnarumma because they can't afford to pay high wages. Other than Marcus Rashford having an issue with Amorim, they were happy to support Amorim because Rashford is earning high wages. Sancho is being pushed out because of high wages. Casemiro is being pushed out because of high wages, not because of footballing reasons. United can't afford to buy players. They can't. They simply can't. And that's the truth of the matter. That's the truth of the matter. United can't afford. So you look at the one, the graph below there by Kieran Maguire. Since the Glazer family acquired Manchester United in 2005, the accumulated pre-tax losses total 531 million. And the cumulative net interest costs are now in excess of 1 billion. So cumulative losses and interest expense for United, it's 1.012 billion pounds. Interest, that is interest. Interest, we're talking about interest. It's the green line there. If you can see this green line, it's 1.12 billion pounds interest. Let me fix my screen. Don't know what happened there. So that shows how dire things are. How bad things are for Manchester United. So Kimi Apps, you're saying, I literally said this yesterday. While Amorim isn't blame-free, the bulk of it lies with the owners. You've basically said what I've been saying for weeks, months. I've been saying the same thing. Blaming Amorim as the only problem is being myopic. It's funneling frustrations to, yes, a correct place, but not the wide angle. Amorim has his faults. And one thing I love about the interview he did today, he said he makes mistakes with the team selection. And that's a good character to have. He admits he makes mistakes. He admitted to it. He knows he has his faults. Amorim is not free of blame. He's made poor substitutions. He's made poor decisions. For example, the team selection versus Tottenham in the Europa League, that was a poor team selection. And when he makes mistakes, I will call him out. We will call him out. But as I've said, the same energy we have towards Amorim out, we should have more energy. Same or more energy towards Glazers out. I'm looking at X. It's not blowing up. You look at Twitter right now, it's not blowing up. If Amorim lost versus or drew versus Wolves, we will have seen Twitter blow up even now, even today in this hour, this minute. But there is nothing. You look at the debt, they are just guys who are reposting the same news. No one is giving their opinion about the debt. I asked one fan today, one of my followers. I asked him via DM. We were just having a chat via DM. I asked him, why are you not protesting? Why are you not giving your opinion? You are so Amorim out. He's part of the problem. Why are you not also saying the owners need to go out? You know what he said? He basically told me, what can I do about it? So I asked him. It's the same thing with Amorim. You can only speak out. You can't go and sack him. The same way you are speaking out against Amorim, speak out against the Glazers. Same energy, aura for aura. So Kimi Apps, you've basically said what I've kept saying weeks on end, months on end. The bulk of the issue is with Amorim. Chicken and egg. They want Amorim to get Europe. so that they can get money to sign players. Amorim needs players so that he can get Europe. So which one comes first? Which one comes first? Kimi Apps was saying hashtag Glazers out needs to trend more. Yes, the same way Amorim out keeps trending. Glazers out needs to. In fact, I would prefer whenever United lose a game, as much as we are saying Amorim out, you also add Glazers out. Anthony, that's why we didn't want to sell Manchester United. Is giving them too much money. Yes, it's a cash cow. United is basically their payroll. But still, even if you have debt, even the layman, even a layman has debt and tries to clear the debt, the Glazers don't give up. I almost say that word about the debt. They don't care. And I'm pretty sure by the time these guys are leaving this club, we will be in a very, very bad situation. Anthony, you are saying Glazers out was trending so much. They thought Radcliffe to be a fall guy. Yeah, and it stopped. And I keep saying this. I looked at Twitter today. The big accounts that keep saying Amorim this, Amorim that, Amorim needs to be sacked. I've looked at all of them. There is no outrage for Glazers. There's no outrage. Guys, let's do an experiment. Let's do an experiment and I'll actually clip this part for the experiment. I hope it doesn't go that way, but let's do an experiment. If United Bournemouth, if United drop points versus Bournemouth, go to social media, look at the accounts that will be yapping, that will be making noise about Amorim needs to be sacked. Just pick the accounts, go to their timeline and see whether they've said anything about the Glazers and the debt. Let's have that experiment. The game is on Monday, but let's have that experiment. If United lose points versus Bournemouth, if they drop points, if they lose, if they draw, go and check the accounts that are making a lot of noise that Amorim needs to be sacked. Then check their timeline, see whether there is outrage for this debt issue. That's the experiment I want us to have. And actually we'll have a show on Tuesday to discuss about it. Anthony was saying, I've read that one. Glazers out was trending so much. They brought Radcliffe to be the fall guy. Kimi Apps, always funny how the topic of debt and PSR comes up at the beginning of every transfer window. Yes. And to me, I'm thinking this news has also come in to bring the hopes down. As I said, when you think United are starting to go on a high, there's always something that starts beating you down. For example, when United had that unbeaten run, those 6 games unbeaten run, was it 5 games unbeaten run? The debate was now about Kobe Mainu not playing. So United beat Wolves 4-1, a huge win, and then this news comes out a few days later. So it's like there's also a campaign to get us emotional, to get us to read the news or something, but it's the quarterly reports. So they could have just said United made a loss of 2.8 million and not talk about the debt. But anyway, with United, expect disappointment any time of the day. Any time of the day. So these PSR things will come out because Kimi Apps also, I'll say this, they will do that so that they show the fans we can't afford transfers. I think that's also a strategy. It's also a strategy like, hey guys, look, you are saying you want midfielders, but we are 1 billion in debt. We can't afford players. I think it's also a strategy. Probably guys are paid to have that narrative like we can't afford players. Why? We made a loss. So Kimi, it also be a strategy. What United need is an outright sale. They have had opportunities to sell the club, but they refuse. They refuse. There are guys who actually want to buy the club. There are guys who are rich guys. Like there was that rumor that Ronaldo would want to buy the club or would be part of a consortium that buys the club. Let them. The class of 92, including Beckham, they also there was also rumors that there were rumors that they wanted to be part of a consortium to buy the club. So the Glazers just refuse. They just refuse. For me, especially the Jassim news, the Sheikh Jassim news, as much as we are not sure whether he's a real guy or not, or the news were real or not, Jassim was willing to come to the club and clear the debt and invest in the squad. But they refused to sell. So the Glazers, I think their main source of money, their main source of income is United, and it's just debt ridden. Mugithi Governor, you're saying, I support that two players are paid too much and are underperforming. Yeah. Anthony, both things can be true at the same time. Amorim out and Glazers need to go. As I am saying, the same energy, Anthony, you show for Amorim out, show for Glazers out. Like right now, you should be angry. The same way you are angry with Amorim when he loses games. Be angry with the Glazers. You guys are so soft right now. Let's be honest. In during the watch along, I was furious. I blew up because I keep saying the same thing. Even if you take Amorim, and there's a video I did about the equation. This equation, the variable keeps changing, but the result is always negative. You have now to look at the constants, and the constants are the owners. Even if you say Amorim out and you bring in the next guy, same issues, trust me, similar issues. We'll all experience similar issues. Even if you bring Arteta to this squad or Pep Guardiola to this, not even squad, this club. Even if you bring the best manager right now, name them, all of them, you bring them to this club, they'll still struggle because look at that situation. United need a CDM. Everyone in the world, even the blind and the deaf, know United need midfielders. Then Amorim is told, we'll only sign the midfielders if an opportunity pops up. If an opportunity. It's not about which midfielder do you want, we go by him. No, it's about an opportunity popping up. And then you bring another manager. If you bring another manager, he'll just be told the same. You have to work with this squad and get Europe. So Anthony and the rest, you'll still come back here. So that name will change from Amorim out to that manager's name. Kimi, you are saying the thing is, for all the talk of Amorim out, the team is actually performing like a top four side. And I said, and I got a lot of abuse, Kimi, for saying it. The team is overachieving. The team is overachieving. This team is overachieving because all other teams are not performing well. If let's assume if Liverpool, Chelsea were performing way better than they are, United right now could have been what? 10th, 11th, 12th? Aston Villa have started performing. If Bournemouth were performing the way they were performing last year, if Nottingham were performing the same way they were performing last year, United could have been same 14th, 15th, 13th, 12th there. United are overachieving because the other clubs are also not good. How can United be on similar points with Chelsea? Piyush, you are saying fan base is too weak to get rid of the Glazers. Good point. But the funny thing is, they are they are strong to shout Amorim out and have opinions and have tactics and say how Kobe and the academy, Amorim is failing Kobe and the academy, but none of them will come out to say how the Glazers is letting down. The Glazers are letting down Amorim, they are letting down Ineos, they are letting down Manchester United fans. They won't say it. The fan base, yeah, I agree with you. The fan base is too weak to get rid of the Glazers. So Piyush, I agree with you there. 100%. 100%. The table right now is too early to judge. Amorim, for all his mistakes, is doing a good job. He is. He is. Let me just look at the table. Let me open FortMob. I look at the table and tell you where United could be if the other teams, the way we know how the other teams can perform, should be performing, where United could be right now. Right now, we have Arsenal, City, Villa, Crystal Palace, top 4. Then Chelsea 5, United 6. 6th place. So if Brighton were performing the way we know Brighton were performing last year, United probably could not have been 6th. Liverpool, Newcastle are also below United. So you look at Liverpool. If Liverpool was performing the same way they were performing last year, United could have dropped to 7th. If Newcastle were performing the same way they were performing last year, United dropped from 7th now to 8th. Okay. We know that last year, Nottingham, Bournemouth, and Brighton were performing better than United. So that means from 8th position, United could have been 11th or 12th. So if the big boys were performing the way we know they are supposed to perform, the best position United could be right now is 9th or 8th. It's 9 or 8th. Yeah. And this season is like the COVID one, the 2020-21 season. There came to a point where teams were like Aston Villa was beating Liverpool 7-1. Man United beat Southampton 9-1. So it's that sort of a freakish season. So my take is, as we end the live, United fans right now need to be united, as the club names suggest, and actually find a way to bring these owners down. I'm not in UK. Most of us are not in the UK. Most of us are spread all over the globe. We have guys from India watching. We have guys from Ghana, Nigeria, all over the world, Kenya watching. We also have guys from the States. We may not be able to go to Manchester to join the protests. But if you look at how the online fan base is when it comes to Amorim out, that energy, imagine now that energy was pointed towards the Glazers out. So that even the guys in the UK, the guys close to Manchester, the guys who can make to Manchester can have that courage. What I would like to see is one day, just one day, the stadium is empty. Like we saw Wolves, what Wolves did. The game started, the stadium was empty. They came on a bit late. For United fans to actually show that they are tired of the Glazers, my preference would be just empty the stadium. Let the away fans go and watch the game. Fine, probably the club will take away the season tickets as a consequence, but sometimes you have to take a hit for the greater good. Sometimes you have to take the hit for the greater good, because this club, the way it is, I'm seeing United being the next Blackburn, the next Leeds, because those were big clubs back then. Those were big clubs, and some of them haven't recovered. Like how many years has it taken Sunderland to come back to the Premier League? how many years? In fact, let me look at the lower divisions so that I can mention. I want to end the live. I've already extended quite a bit. I want just to look at the lower leagues and mention some of the clubs that used to be big clubs, but because of their financial woes, financial troubles, they never recovered. So if I go to the championship, some of the top clubs that used to be in the Premier League, one of them is Stoke City. Stoke City was always a Premier League regular. Blackburn Rovers. There was a time Blackburn Rovers wanted to sign Ronaldinho. Portsmouth, it's another big club. Sheffield Wednesday. And because of their financial issues, they were unable to recover. You remember Mike Ashley at Newcastle? QPR, yes, KB. Thanks for that. QPR right now are 7th in the championship. And QPR have had issues. Another big team is Hull City. You remember Hull City? Those were Premier League regulars. Swansea was also a big club. Leicester as well, yeah. Leicester won the Premier League. Do you remember? You remember? Leicester win the Premier League. Right now, can they win it again? Because when their owner passed away, deep trouble. So United is heading towards that direction. Mike Ashley, I was mentioning about Mike Ashley at Newcastle. He was bringing the club down. Newcastle was always in the relegation fight. They are relegated, they come back. When they come back, the Premier League, they are also there in the relegation fight. And Newcastle was a top club, a big club. The days of Alan Shearer, big club. Big club. So United now is going there. Unless this club is sold, I'm not seeing any hope for the club. Finally, Kimi Apps, you're saying the thing is it's easy to blame the manager. Looking at the owner shows how bad we actually are. I'll finish by saying this. The day Manchester United fans stop focusing on the manager and the results and actually start asking themselves, what is the major issue? What is causing all this? Because Amorim, Manchester United losing to Everton is a symptom. It's a symptom of a much bigger disease. Eric Ten Hag, Amorim, Ragnick, Ole, Mourinho, Louis van Gaal, all of them are symptoms. And one thing I'll say, Kimi, as well, is United fans haven't noticed that with every manager, things keep getting worse. Under Moyes, things were a little bit better. Under Mourinho, it was worse than under Louis van Gaal, worse than Moyes. Under Mourinho, slightly better than Louis van Gaal, but by the time he was getting sacked, it was even worse than Louis van Gaal. Ole came in a little bit better, it got worse. And you notice after Mourinho's time, Manchester United have been able to get into 2 European finals and lost both of them. Mourinho was the other manager who got to a European final. He won. Ole got to a European final, didn't win. Amorim got to a European final, didn't win. So you look after Ole's time, the best competition that Manchester United have won is the FA Cup. So Ten Hag won the Carabao Cup and FA Cup, which is worse than Ole getting to the European League final and Mourinho winning the Europa final. So it's worse. So from winning Europe to winning local cups, domestic cups. Mourinho, Ole, top 4. Third place, second place. Ten Hag came in, yes, pushed to top 4, but it started going down, down, down. Now Amorim came in from 8th to 15th. So it's been getting worse and worse and worse. So the moment United fans realize that the one constant are the Glazers and they are causing all these issues, they will no longer be angry with Amorim. Because I keep saying, you can't give an F1 driver a very expensive jalopy, a very expensive tractor, and expect him to win the race. He will participate. Fine, he will participate. But don't expect much from them. And as I said, United fans need to lower their expectations, especially after this news about the debt. If Amorim doesn't perform well, just know that he can't get the squad he desires. So, comment here. Shitsama, you're saying Manchester United can never go to those lower levels. Soon United will be sold and things will change positively. I hope so. I hope so. I hope so. Honestly, I hope so. I hope so. Yeah. So thanks, guys, for tuning in. Thanks for all your comments, getting involved. So remember, as much as we are frustrated with Amorim, also let's get frustrated with the Glazers. So until tomorrow, guys, tomorrow we'll be going live, same time, 9 p.m. East African time. Thanks for everyone who's commented. The new commenters, I've seen Shitsama, I've also seen Piyush on YouTube. Then we had Kimi Apps, TikTok KB, Anthony as well, Governor, everyone who's participated in the comment section. So until tomorrow, guys, see you. God bless.